This is interview part one of programming. We have Jacob, the Syrian here from the programming team. Question one, Jacob. What is your progress so far?
So far what we've done is we've teach the kids basic Java programming, and we've got them moving motors around and turning things on and off, but we're getting there and getting them working with making stuff move.
What have you been working on right now?
We've been working on getting them set up with basic programming with Java and getting them turning motors on and off and getting things moving.
Yes. What is your plan for the next week?
So next week we're probably going to get the kids setting up drivetrains in their code, and then possibly making last year's robot go and stuff like that. I heard there's electrical things that need to be fixed.
So how are you collaborating with other groups since you just mentioned electrical?
Well, yeah, electrical is very important. We have to check with them to make sure we don't blow something up or set something on fire accidentally, and without electrical we have nothing to program on.
Okay. What hurdles are you facing with code this year? Like any problems?
Not really. I mean, we have freshmen, so that's a hurdle.
Yeah, freshman. So that's good. Good to meet you.
Nice to meet you too.
Yeah.
It was an honor being on your show.
Yeah,
The Saber Robotics team, and we will be interviewing team number 2, and that is the design team. And this is Ethan Rocha, one of the members of it. Ethan, what is your progress so far?
All right, so far. The design team has actually stayed pretty well on task. So far, we've already come up with a decision matrix, as well as we've begun prototyping for our actual robot. The decision matrix will definitely help us to choose our robot or what kind of design we want. Also, we've laid out a time schedule that will help us to stay on track for the building of the robot, so that we don't fall behind.
What have you done so far, like at the moment? What were you doing?
I've been helping to create the decision matrix. I know a lot of people. I think there are like 4 different groups that we're all prototyping. We broke up into small groups, and we begun to prototype a lot of different components of the robot that we think will be a key factor in how we put it together.
Would you know what your plans are for next week, like the upcoming week? What you guys expect to do?
Upcoming week, we're hoping that by the end of this week, we can have our entire design basically decided on. By next week, we're going to start CADing the parts, and hopefully we can start getting some good sketches of the robot itself.
How are you collaborating with other groups in Saber Robotics?
This year the task is a little bit more tricky. It definitely requires a lot of collaboration, because the big decision this year is whether or not to design the robot to pick up the totes internally or externally. And so whatever decision that we decide on, that impacts all of our different subgroups, because each subgroup is designing a different component of the machine, and they all depend on each other. So if one changes, then another group, like whatever the other group is working on, may not even count for anything. However, if we do come up with a breakthrough in our design, then it could potentially help the entire group exponentially.
Last question. What major factors do you guys really have to consider into designing this robot?
Some major factors definitely include the drivetrain, because it determines stability within our robot, which is very important because we have to keep a good center of gravity for when we move the totes out of our robot, or depending on what design we choose. But also how we pick up the robot and how we carry it within its system is an extremely important factor, because depending on how we decide to do it, that will basically determine our strategy for the game.
Okay, well, thank you for spending some time and explaining what your subgroup is doing for Saber Robotics. This is Saber Robotics, and this is interview number 2 with Ty from the mechanical team. Nice to meet you, Ty. And this is our first question. What is your progress so far?
So far we haven't done much. We're just waiting for design to spit out plans so we can make them.
What have you been working on recently?
Right now they're making prototypes for the arms and the chassis.
What is your plan for next week?
Just do whatever design tells us to.
So, is that the group you're mainly collaborating with?
Pretty
Design?
much.
Is there any
Design
other
and a
groups?
bit of electrical.
A bit of
depending on what they
electrical.
need.
Nice. What are different materials being used in this year's robot?
This year, if we continue to go with press fit chassis, it'll be aluminum, plastic in the press fits, hot rivets, most of that stuff. And depending on what metal they want to use for the more important pieces, maybe, I don't know, steel.
This is the Saber Robotics FRC Team 2506, and this is interview number 4 with the Business and Marketing subgroup. Here is Nabil Raza, one of the leaders of the group. Nabil, what is your progress so far?
We've had a lot of progress in the preseason as well as in the past couple days dealing with fundamentals of awards, which includes reading the rules, getting ready to do those. We've also done a little bit with the website, and fundraising has been an important topic as well. So we will continue to do these things throughout the season, but the most important stuff has been done so far.
What is your plan for the next week?
The next week will be really important, seeing as it's one of the beginning weeks of the build season. I know other teams are working on designing or whatever they may be working on, but we're doing mostly finishing up these awards that we're working on, finishing up our preseason task list, which is very important. Also, with the website, we will be updating things, working on that, creating our newsletter. So, yeah.
What have you been working on recently?
Personally, I've been doing the Woody Flowers Award, which is an award given to an exceptional mentor who has shown first qualities. This year's nominee from this team is Ms. Trejo from the business and marketing side. She's an excellent candidate, and I'm writing up the essay for her right now.
What other groups are you collaborating with in Saber Robotics?
Seeing as we are the business team, we have to collaborate with every single team in the robotics group. We sort of are the connection between those teams, and with this newsletter as well as other communication things we're sending out, we hopefully will be able to communicate with each other better, which is something that's definitely needed on this team.
What new things have been incorporated with the 2015 season?
I think that the most important thing this season is this new Slingshot movie premiere. It's a great fundraising opportunity. We've rented a documentary on a new invention called the Slingshot. This was made by Dean Kamen, the creator of First. We'll be airing that, selling tickets, doing our best to raise as much money as we can with that. There's been a lot of effort put into that by Rehan and many of the other new members this year. Along with that, I think other things, we'll be aiming very high for the Chairman's Award this year. Years before, we have not tried as much as we could have, and this year we have plenty of community outreach and other stuff going on so that we are eligible for that award.
Well, this is the business and marketing team of Saber Robotics, FRC Team 2506. Nice to meet you. This is Saber Robotics Team 2506, interview number 5 with the electrical team. And here we have Conrad. Conrad, what is your progress so far?
So far we've been working on getting all of the pneumatics and motor control systems up and running. Last Wednesday we worked a little bit with the programming team, and we were able to get all of the new components up and running. So far it's been working flawlessly.
What have you been working on recently?
Well, today we've been working on setting up our new electrical testing board so that we can more easily transport the components that programming needs for testing.
What is your plan for the upcoming week?
Probably next week we'll be working on finishing off the testing board if we don't finish it today, and we'll be doing more testing with programming to probably try out some variable motor systems, because so far we've only been using static motor control.
So is programming the main group that you collaborate with?
So far. Eventually down the road we'll need to work with mechanical to make sure that we have enough room on the actual robot to place all of our electrical components.
Okay, well thank you for taking your time to come here. This is the interview number 5 at the electrical team.